Hi everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria, and today I wanted to chime in on Loni Jane no longer being vegan. I just want to start out by showing what she used to look like. Now, I'm not sure if there's a filter on this, and I'm sure that this is pre-pregnancy. She's had two children. I believe she had her second child in the same year that I did, 2018, but I'm also going to show her in an interview with 60 Minutes that she did to just show the difference in her face. Here's her face in 2018. I'm pretty sure that this is probably like 2014. You got aging there, but she's glowing here. And I noticed right away when I looked at this 60 Minutes interview that her face looks sunken. She looks depleted. And that typically happens after you have children. Your body, gives everything to your child when you're growing the baby and when you're nursing, that you really have to stay on top of your own nutritional needs. And most importantly, enough carbohydrate calories coming in. When I was pregnant and after I had my children, I was easily eating 4,000 calories a day. And that supported my breast milk production. And it also supported me having the energy to care for my child and to care for myself and get fitter and do everything that I needed to do. So I don't want to be too harsh on her, but I will say that you can see in this interview, just in the way that she talks, that in the way that she looks, that she was headed down the ex-vegan path. Let's get into this interview very quickly.
Preachy. Your life is perfect.
So Loni Jane has over 400,000 followers on her Instagram.
As you portray it. Try.
Really beautiful pictures, but she does not look like this anymore. She's not glowing. She lost her glow. And I really think it's because, like, even though she made it look like she was promoting health with her Instagram account, she was also headed down the path of orthorexia. And in this interview here, she kind of hints at that.
Adjusted to that food.
Right now, she's talking about raising her children vegan.
You got to, clear out a lot of that toxic sort of waste.
She's saying that in order to think fruit and vegetables taste good, you have to clear out toxic waste. That is a fallacy. That is not true information. When it comes to raising vegan children, it's all about early exposure and exposing them to the foods that you want them to eat. So healthy foods, cucumbers, celery, applesauce, a lot of fruit and veggie purees. I fed both my children rice cereal. When a child is fed vegan foods, health promoting foods at the beginning, then that's what their palate is geared for. This whole concept that we are toxic and need to clear out our toxicity in order to enjoy fruits and vegetables, that's not true. You just have to start eating them, and then your palate will desire them. So that's red flag number one, is she is of this detox mindset in order to be healthy.
To be able to enjoy, the more blandness of fruits and vegetables, because they're not loaded with artificial sweeteners and sugar.
And there it is. Red flag number two, she was anti-sugar back then. Loni was just severely misinformed. I don't believe she has any credentials in nutrition. And so all of her knowledge of nutrition was probably not from reputable sources. A lot of social media influencers sound like they know what they're talking about, but they don't actually know what they're talking about. And determine whether you think somebody knows what they're talking about or not is just ask them what their opinion on sugar is. If they're anti-sugar, then they simply don't understand what a sugar molecule is and how it is the same in fruits and starches and table sugar and anything that contains carbohydrate. They all get broken down into glucose, and that's how the body, it uses that glucose to convert into cellular ATP or cellular energy currency that gets utilized by all of our cells. So to say that you're anti-sugar, but you're pro fruits and vegetables is just not understanding what sugar is. And yes, fruits and vegetables come with all kinds of other nutrients, but the most important nutrient in them is that sugar molecule, because that's what generates the energy for your body to be able to process everything else that is coming with those foods. So that's just it for this interview with her. I just wanted to point that out, that she was already headed down the path of orthorexia then, and I'm sure that her stint with eating, fruits and vegetables back when she was very popular, like in the interview that she did with Freely when she was pregnant and eating 20 bananas a day, that was, her claim to fame, right? But her health declined after that point because she went into pregnancy and she didn't know how to properly nourish herself. She started to eat less carbohydrates and more plant fats, which is fine if you're consuming sufficient amounts of carbohydrates every day to include the plant fats. But if you're taking the carbohydrates out of the diet and replacing them with plant fats, it's no wonder why she is an ex-vegan now and eating like a keto style diet. I'll get into that here shortly. I also want to show what her body used to look like pre-pregnancy, and I'm sure after having kids, this is what she was after as well. And it was probably a lot harder to obtain, especially, raising kids and then your diet not being exactly on point. She probably struggled a little bit with metabolic damage after having kids from just not knowing how to eat enough carbohydrate calories. So I'm going to play this interview.
I've built this.
Okay. Because the interviewer actually starts talking to her about eating disorders.
It's perfect in my eyes.
Okay, right now they're talking about her Instagram account and having this massive following, and her body being like the point of attention, right?
It's perfect in my eyes.
But when you're having a bad day, you don't post about that.
I deal internally with a lot of stuff myself, and I'm good.
And in this interview, I just want to point out that I got the vibe that she's very defensive, instead of just being positive, like, yeah, this is my life and I'm posting as much of, the realness that I can, because you can't, most people aren't posting, the negatives in their life or whatever. Most people want to post the positive, which is great, but as long as you are being authentic, not just pretending to be.
So that people look at your life and they think everything is perfect. So if they just do what you do, they too can look like you and be you.
Yeah.
Okay, so pay attention to how Loni responds to this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get people to look like me though.
Okay, so she says that she's not trying to get people to look like her though, but her posts looked like this, right? And then her other posts were all like food posts. So it was either her food or her body that she was posting. So how could she say that she wasn't trying to attract attention to the way that she looked in order to gain followers? I mean, I do the same. I show my body, I show the results of the lifestyle that I promote in an effort to draw people to my social media so that I can help educate them on how to get the same thing. So it's weird that she's in denial about trying to influence people in that way. And that's because she's unsure of if what she's doing is healthy, actually, and health promoting.
But that might be an unintentional.
Yeah, I think anyone on social media can have that impact on people.
Can you see how your message could possibly lead to an eating disorder?
No.
I love how she responds. It's like the quietest no. I mean, if somebody asked me that question, I'd be like, no way. Like, I promote abundance. I promote eating as much as you want. Like, the way she responds, she's lying. And it's because she had already at this point begun to develop an eating disorder herself. I mean, she's just in denial because it's like she was asked if she had an eating disorder right now. And she's like a little kid, you know, in the way that she's responding, like, no, like, I don't have anything wrong with me. It just red flag.
Not if you're taking everything I give.
Now, she was asked if she thought that what she was promoting was an eating disorder, and she just denied that what she was promoting was to help people look like her. And now she is saying that you won't have an eating disorder if you do things exactly the way that I'm telling you to do them.
Because I give a lot.
And look at this picture. This picture is about, look how slim my waist is because I'm drinking this drink, right? So I think what probably happened with Loni is that this body became harder and harder to maintain because she was under eating. And so her body was storing body fat and it was unable to shift her weight so much because she had metabolic damage. And now, if we look at where she's at, oh, this is when she was pregnant, you know, just absolutely glowing. Like, look at the difference, you know, Loni here, Loni here. She just looks stressed.
And I put a lot.
And here she's getting defensive again.
Into myself. I put a lot into educating myself.
But educating herself with correct information, because now she's eating a keto style diet. And this diet that she was eating, sure, looks healthy, but if it wasn't enough calories, then it wasn't going to be sustainable. And I know that as she went on in her journey, it's particularly in this picture, she talked about how she was having a lot of gastrointestinal issues, that this was after a night of having pizza and beer and gluten and things like that. And then this was, you know, a few weeks later or a few days later. I remember when she put this post up and she's like, look, I cut all these things out of my diet and look how, you know, flat my belly looks now. But the thing about it is that if she was eating a diet that was truly health promoting and abundant and sufficient in carbohydrate calories, there wouldn't be this major fluctuation in her body weight. So her posting a picture like this and showing, oh, look at how bloated and distended my belly is, and then look at me now, I've got my diet back on point. Like, there should never be this kind of variation in terms of like, I'm eating one way and I look like this, and I'm eating another way and I look like this. If you're truly eating a healthy diet, there's not going to be fluctuation unless you're just your metabolism and your body is adjusting to a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet. But you know, this kind of fluctuation is a red flag for an eating disorder, because you should never feel like you know, need to binge out, because every day you're just eating enough food, you're eating as much as you want, you're letting your hunger and fullness cues dictate, you know, when you eat, how much you eat, and when you're done eating. And then, like, I don't have this kind of a fluctuation in my body size. My body size just stays stable. You know, my weight has been steadily coming down, but then it just stays there and it becomes effortless to maintain. Okay, so let's take a look at what Loni's eating now. Okay, and here it is. This is about her diet. Okay. Yeah, this is when she said she added oysters to her otherwise vegan diet. And that, you know, was purely because she was heading down that path of not being vegan anymore, because her diet was too deficient. It was too deficient in carbohydrate calories. And now look at where she's at. I want to go back to that image. Oh. Doesn't want to stay there. Okay, so basically she says my body needs fats and proteins in this chapter, even though she was focused on, eating plenty of plant and um, plant protein and plant fat previously. So what was the difference? Because it's not about the fat and protein. Most people eat too much fat and protein, and that's still what she's doing now. Her vegan diet became unsustainable because when you don't eat enough carbohydrate calories, you start to suffer from immune system problems, gastrointestinal system problems. So it wasn't that she was deficient in fat and protein like she believes. It was because she was under eating and she had orthorexia as a vegan. And that is typically the demise of all ex-vegans, is that they simply were following dogmatic information versus following real scientific clinical research studies and understanding human biochemistry, physiology, metabolism, because then she would know that she simply needed to eat more carbohydrates. But that is it for this video. I hope that you guys appreciate my opinion about the subject and understand why Loni is no longer vegan. And if she simply wanted to become vegan again, that would be amazing. She just have to keep her fat and protein intake low, keep the carbohydrates high, and for her gastrointestinal issues that she was struggling with, to stick to, a fruit, sugar, rice style diet, and that would clear things right up. Okay, thanks for watching. Leave any comments or questions down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.